Hi, welcome to Lisa and Michael Save the World. And this is a special art hole edition of our show.
We were so upset about what's going on in Florida regarding art that we stopped everything we were doing to talk about it because it needs to be heard. And the more people that know about it, the more opposition to it, because we've got to fight censorship.
Absolutely. So for anybody that does not know, has been living under a rock, um, a teacher in Florida showed the statue of David, which is, I mean, the one of the oldest pieces of art that I think everyone has seen at one point or another.
Absolutely.
And there were what, two parents, one parent? It was something like that.
One parent. And
One
this
parent.
and it wasn't like the teacher just showed it. This was part of a lesson plan. And I am a former public school teacher, and I know that we teachers take great care and focus and attention on writing out their lesson plans. We have requirements that we have to meet, regarding lesson plans. And we become teachers because we care. Nobody goes into education to be rich, you go into education to make a difference. And this teacher was sharing probably the most famous sculpture on the planet with her sixth grade students. These aren't like little children, these are middle school kids. And it was part of her lesson plan.
Yeah. And one parent who actually, do we know the name of the parent?
No, that has been, and probably because there would be backlash. I have
And there
not
should
seen,
be. And there
but,
should be.
but we have everybody else's name, including the school board chairperson, Barney Bishop III, who fired the school's principal over this.
Barney, you're an art hole, and that's saying it nice from what I really want to call you.
I think the school, it's called the Tallahassee Classical School, Classic School. It's a charter school, just so you know. I wasn't sure if you're aware of that. So
Yeah.
it is funded by the state, but charter schools by the name have to write out a charter, an application to become a charter school. You can start a new charter school, or you can take an existing public school in Florida and turn it into a charter school if the charter application is accepted. So clearly, they have taken this mentality and laws that are being enacted in Florida to an extreme. I don't deny parents' rights within the schools. I totally agree with this. But the idea of firing somebody over this, because from what I read and what I've heard, notification is 2 weeks notification regarding this. But to call the statue of David by Michelangelo pornography is insane. It's ridiculous, and it's creating a mentality that we're fighting against. It is a nude statue, but that's it. So what? Let's not make it more than what it is, and let's accept it and love it.
And how did this mother ever become pregnant? If she thinks that's, I mean, seriously, I mean, what is she? Like, it's ridiculous. Too bad her name, seriously, she needs to be called out. Hopefully they'll find out her name.
Yeah, or
it needs to be spread.
It does, because if you're putting everybody else's name out there, and if you have the nerve to get someone fired, because that's essentially what without this complaint, without the action of this complaint, nobody would have lost their job. So
she's a coward.
Right.
She's an absolute coward. I
Right.
mean, like,
What I do love,
go ahead.
is that the mayor of Florence, Italy, has invited the teachers, the principal, everyone, the students, to come and see the statue of David in person. And just so we know, the mayor's name, the Florence mayor's name is Dario Nardella. And
Well,
I heart Dario.
this is why we are a laughing stock of many places for idiotic moves like this, where it's, you know, we're going down the tubes here.
I
Really?
agree. We're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I mean, soon we're going to be. I mean, I think about the things that we learned in school.
Mhm.
You know, I can remember as a quick example, I was in an acting class
Mhm.
with Miss Halaki, who
Yes.
was a wonderful art teacher. Who would, I mean, in today's world, she'd be fired in an instant. But we actually we did a lot of improvs, and there were two, let me just call them jocks, that obviously they were seniors, they took the class because they obviously had to, they did not want to be there. And what she did, actually, I think it was three of them, because it was three people. And what she did was wonderful. She gave them this improv that two of them were gay dads and their son, and the other one was like their son, and they had to explain to the son their 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 situation.
Mhm.
Now remember, this is oh, I don't even want to say
This
the
is
date,
the
but
80s.
this is the 80s, and you know, things like that weren't, I mean, we weren't even progressed that far like we are now. Of course, that's being taken away. She would be fired. I mean, those
A lot of
parents,
teachers would.
I mean, it was wonderful at the time because it really gave them a kick in the ass, you know. But
Listen,
it was,
you and I always talk about teachers because they make a difference in the lives of their students long term.
yeah,
That's why I became a teacher, because I wanted to make a difference when I was teaching. And this teacher has stuck with you and made a difference. You still remember this teacher
yeah,
so well. I mean,
I do.
and I have no doubt that this teacher in Tallahassee wanted to talk about Michelangelo's David to enrich these children's minds, and only that.
Well, the thing that drives me crazy in today's world is that years ago, and I know that I know about you, but I know I had definitely seen a lot of things that probably I shouldn't have seen. You know, R-rated films back when we were kids were R-rated films. R-rated films today are not what they used to be.
Sure.
You know, so you can tell we've gone backwards. You know, the 70s, it was nudity, and you saw men, women. R-rated meant you saw something. In today's world, R-rated does not necessarily mean nudity. Someone could
No.
say, could drop the F-bomb, you know, more than two times, and it's, you know, it's got to get an R rating. I mean, we're, I mean, what are we Puritans here now? You know, it's getting to a point that,
It's getting to
so
the point that censorship is dictating the way the arts are being created, the way they're being presented. It's too much and it's wrong. I mean, this to me is really black and white. Art is subjective, and because art is, I like certain things, music, visual arts, dance, whatever, and I don't like others. So what? I'm not
right,
going to protest because I find it offensive or I don't like it. If it's hurtful, that's something else. But
right, that's different.
but Michelangelo's David is not hurtful. And
No,
Michelangelo did a lot of nude sculptures. So to learn about Michelangelo in school is to learn about the nude figure in its beauty and appreciate it.